And we are back. Yeah, after a long needed holidays, I'm back on my reactions here. And let's see what serpentza has to say about Americans on Rednote.
This is incredible. Did you know that the American government has been lying to you about China all this time?
Actually, we know. If you follow my channels, we know.
What do you mean? That people in China work one job and they don't even work 40 hours? And
okay, no, that's not true. In China, they work in average 49 hours.
They can easily afford their life?
Yes.
And then I'm over here working 60 hours a week?
Yes.
Just me as a single parent to barely make ends meet?
Yes.
Seriously, all the bad things you've ever heard about the Communist Party of China and China, it's just American propaganda. In fact, if you install xiaohongshu, Little Red Book, also it's been whitewashed to Rednote.
Actually, that was the name. They didn't change the Rednote. It was never called Little Red Book in English.
And you can go and see what China's really like. You've been lied to this whole time. It's actually a very prosperous place. Everybody's driving fancy cars. Everyone has cute pets. Everyone looks incredibly attractive. Beautiful ladies with...
That's social media, man. You never use the Instagram. You don't know how Instagram works.
Their makeup and their fashion, and very handsome guys and their very cool Lamborghinis. And it'll change your mind. You'll get to see what China's really like. But what's this? Some Chinese people aren't very happy that you've got all these TikTok refugees heading over there. I mean, you've basically gate crashed.
In Chinese, it's called TikTok Nangming.
Their own little party over there without asking.
All the TikTok refugees, are you kidding? America's literally burning, and I'm so sorry, guys, that you have to be here. Are you guys actually happy to be here? Just a little heads up, though. Things work a little bit different here. The algorithm is a little bit different.
Yes.
Although xiaohongshu did change the freaking layout to the same layout like TikTok. We hate it. It used to not be like that. Now it's just all f***ed. Like your legislation system.
You're LGBTQ whatever. Keep that shit to yourself. There's no gay marriage out here. That's against the law.
It's not against the law because there's no law regarding gay marriage in China. So it's not against the law because there's not really a law for that.
So keep that shit to yourself.
Now, the majority of Chinese people are, of course, very friendly to strangers, just as you'll find anywhere in the world you go.
Yes.
Hi, friends from TikTok. Right now, I feel so excited, but also a little worried. This is the first time in my life I have felt the world is so big. So
That's
thank you
nice.
for your coming, and thank you for your kindness and curiosity.
Well,
If you use the internet, you should be using a VPN, which shows the real China, the reality of China. But you see, there's a little hiccup with all of this. And I think no matter how much you hate the American government and how much you hate America, you will have to listen to a little bit of reason here.
okay, let's see.
Let me explain.
Okay, just a heads up. This guy who used to live in China. He was a teacher here. I guess that's the only kind of job he could find. He's from South Africa, and he's spent like 10, 15 years. He was not living far away from me. I am living in the south of China. He was living in Shenzhen. I'm living in Jiamen. So, yeah.
Explain to you what Little Red Book or xiaohongshu really is. It's the equivalent of Instagram, and that's saying it charitably. It was a copy of Instagram.
It's not really like Instagram. It's not a copy. Doesn't even look like Instagram.
Fully Chinese language, kind of walled off copy of Instagram, and it's been there for Chinese people. It's got a very specific demographic. It's 70% women, and it's always affluent, middle to upper class women.
Do you really think this is a copy of Instagram? Even the feed is not the same, man. This is not a copy of Instagram.
And that use it, of course, the other 30% being guys, also from the big cities in China, the richer, more affluent people. So, of course, you're going to see glamorous lifestyles of the middle and upper class people. That's just who it caters to. But on top of that, it's heavily censored. So the government...
Like everything else, like Facebook, Instagram, everything else. What are you talking about?
...to make sure there are no politics involved on Little Red Book.
That's not true.
You're not allowed to show police brutality. You're not allowed to show anything that might cast China in a bad light, like poverty, for instance.
It's not about China in a bad light. It's just to spread this kind of thing. China don't want to spread this kind of information here.
Homelessness, the list goes on. Anything that might cast China in a bad light is not allowed on the platform.
Wait. So you're saying that an app that was made for China is not allowed to expose things that could make China in a bad light, but it's only for China. What are you talking about? Doesn't even make any sense.
So to think that you're seeing a real-life depiction of what China's really like by downloading xiaohongshu is, of course, completely false. Let me put it to you this way.
Explain to us, white man, why China is not like that. Why the Chinese people, so there's literally Chinese people showing how China really is, but there's a white man in the United States explaining to you, no, China doesn't work like that.
Instagram was controlled by the American government. So yeah, Instagram, the government comes in and says, sorry, you're not allowed to post anything about police brutality. You're not allowed to post anything about politics.
That's not true.
You cannot criticize Biden or Trump. You cannot criticize the American government. You cannot criticize the public transport in America. You cannot bring up homelessness, drug addiction, any of these things.
That's not true.
Gun violence, none of that.
Of course, there's no gun violence in China. What are you talking about? There's no gun violence here because people are not allowed to have guns.
You're only allowed to post lifestyle. So, sexy girls going to the beach. I mean, Instagram is pretty much only that anyway, right?
And do you have that in Chinese social media as well?
Pretty girls at the beach, eating fancy food, going on a tour of Europe or whatever it is. That's what Little Red Book or xiaohongshu is. It's an idealized lifestyle app.
Like every social media, man. We are in 2025. You woke up yesterday.
It's people showing off their fancy lifestyles, which, let's be honest, the majority of it, just like in the West, is overblown and fake. So what you're seeing is a state-controlled image of what China could be like. And it's not to say that China doesn't have nice things. In fact, of course it does. I lived there for 14 years. I myself have sung the praises of many things in China, including the public transport and some of the very convenient aspects of living in China. What a lot of people seem to be forgetting, though, is that when you look at the lifestyle in China and somebody tells you, oh, my rent is, only $500 a month, you might think that is incredible. But that's you coming from a Western mindset where you earn
$500 a month is an expensive rent here in my city. If you are living, of course, in Shenzhen or Guangzhou or Shanghai, $500 is expensive. But in Shanghai, you can live in a nice apartment, like 50 square meters, and pay $1,000. Because I was about to rent a place like that in Shanghai. In Guangzhou, it's the same. You can rent 70 square meters and pay 6,000 yuan per month. That will be less than $1,000.
Because in China, $500 is a lot. In fact, a lot of the population in China earn only $700 a year. Of course, these are not the people you will...
No. That's not true. People don't make $700 per year. There was some data released, I think, in 2022 that 40% of Chinese people are making around $800 per month. Per month, not per year. So I don't know where he got this data from.
See on xiaohongshu, what I'm trying to tell you is that this
is also
that
China.
You're getting into China is a curated one, and it's not reality. It's pretty simple, and anyone with a little bit of common sense could see that.
You are not allowed to talk about politics, but you are allowed to talk about taxes, like comparing China and United States taxes. So I mean, this guy. If you check his channel, basically he say bullshit about China. He's a professional China hater. He's been a professional China hater for many, many years. And I believe that's why he left, because he makes more money being a China hater than being a teacher here.
But the amount of misinformation and disinformation that's being spread is actually quite appalling. Because don't forget, xiaohongshu only has a 300 million user base. Might sound like a lot, right? But it's not for China. China has over 1 billion people, right? So you're looking at a little portion, little demographic, little slice of China's life. And it's the upper class. I mean, xiaohongshu is the place to go brag about your new handbag, your LV bag, or your makeup or whatever. It's meant for fashion, well-to-do.
Yeah, I'm using xiaohongshu to find a different place to go, like coffee shops or events in my city. That's mostly why I'm using it. But now we have a lot of political content, especially because Americans and Europeans are flocking in. They're discussing how much is this in China, why in the United States we pay so much for healthcare, and in China is like $4 to go to pay for the doctor. That's what I paid for a dermatologist. So yeah, there is politics content.
Sophisticated people. So you miss
wait. I missed that. So you're saying Chinese are able to buy Louis Vuitton bags?
missing out on everything else that China has to offer, the good and the bad. But here's the thing.
Tell me, white man.
Something positive has come from this. And I really love to see the fact that the average Chinese user has been able to interact with foreigners, because that's kind of rare. Don't forget that everything is blocked in China, so they can't just come onto Twitter and engage with you there. They can't come onto Instagram.
Everything.
And engage with you there, or Facebook or YouTube or any of the normal social media apps that you use are blocked in China, right?
Yep.
So it's
But you can just use a VPN like I am doing right now to record this video. I have Instagram, I have Twitter. It's not a crime to have it and to use it in China. Anyone can use it. Okay?
taken this crazy move of TikTok refusing to divest, so they are the ones actually responsible for shutting themselves down.
Okay, so let's follow this reasoning. TikTok refused to sell its operations in the United States, so it's their fault that they will be banned. But somehow, Instagram could have done the same in China, but it's blocked. Facebook refused to do the same in China and it's blocked. Google refused to do the same in China and it's blocked. So do you see how he plays with words? So if it's done in China, it's blocked. If it's done in the United States, it's TikTok's fault that they're being banned. It's the same. TikTok could have sold their operations in China. They didn't. They accepted to be banned.
Remember, if you're losing your livelihood because...
Oh, sorry, TikTok, no. Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of them.
TikTok is shutting down. The only people you can blame is TikTok themselves. They've thrown you under the bus. They do not care. They don't care about you. If they did, they would have allowed somebody to buy it so the app...
Oh, meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg was on the Joe Rogan podcast and he said the CIA can access your WhatsApp messages. Because in Brazil, WhatsApp is huge. I'm Brazilian and in Europe as well. CIA can read your message, but it's okay, right? Of course it's okay because it's not a communist country doing it.
Could continue. But no, in fact, the Chinese government is the one who said that they're not allowed to sell. Tells you a lot about their motivations.
Again, Winston. His name is Winston. Why Meta didn't sell Facebook, Instagram to Chinese operations? Why Google didn't do that? Why they accepted to be banned? In this case, is the communist government to blame, but why TikTok is to be blamed in the United States banning?
Anyway, this very positive development of Chinese people and American people getting together is unfortunately coming to an end. Right from the beginning, the Chinese government stepped in and said, listen, this is not okay. We don't want, the average American's content to be seen by Chinese people. I mean, that's why we block everything.
But surprisingly enough, they didn't block xiaohongshu. Until now, everything is okay. Anyone can access xiaohongshu and see whatever they want to see.
Do something about it. So immediately we saw Little Red Book, xiaohongshu. You may know it as Rednote. Please, Rednote is not its real name. They just came up with that like yesterday to try and divert away from the fact that it's named after Mao Zedong's murders, Mao's little indoctrination book. Red
was called, how was called? Red, just Red. They added the Rednote, actually.
Rednote posted feverishly online looking for English censors to join because they didn't expect this to happen.
Of course.
They honestly thought that this whole thing with TikTok would go away because they've been putting so much time and effort into making the American public feel as if their government is screwing them over, where it's actually TikTok themselves who are doing it. And in a last-ditch effort to keep control and influence over the American populace, they told them all to go and join xiaohongshu.
China didn't do that, man. They did it by themselves. What are you talking about? China government didn't ask. If China government wanted people to join xiaohongshu, they would have hired the English censors beforehand, right? They didn't expect at all. Xiaohongshu added a translation option yesterday because everything was in Chinese. Now we are able to translate the posts. If China wanted people from TikTok to jumping in xiaohongshu, they would have prepared the app for foreigners. And they didn't at all. Even TikTok didn't do that. ByteDance could have made an option and allowed people to join Douyin. Douyin is the TikTok version in China, and they didn't. Nobody expected that.
Do you think that was organic?
Yes.
Do you think that Americans are going to suddenly be like, oh, let me go and join this Chinese app that I can't even pronounce the name or know how to spell it?
Rednote. How you don't know to do that? You're a colonizer in South Africa. How you don't know that?
Xiaohongshu, you know what I mean? Xiaohongshu, really? Do you think some Americans were like, hey, let's go join this? No. It shows you that TikTok influence is a real thing. They pushed a whole bunch of people over there. And like I said, some positive things happened. But scrambling, they had to hire English censors. And at this
guy is too dumb. TikTok pushed people to a competition app. Does this make any sense at all? TikTok has Lemonade. Lemonade was their alternative app for TikTok. ByteDance has this app, actually. And TikTok is still fighting. TikTok CEO was invited for Trump inauguration. Okay? He will be there at Trump's inauguration because they are still fighting to have TikTok open in the United States. So what you're saying makes no sense. Do you really think ByteDance is pushing people to the competition? You said you lived in China for 14 years. Do you really believe that?
Same time, the Chinese government is very unhappy about the fact that normal Chinese citizens can view American content and feeds.
Yes.
So what are they doing? Well, they're working on walling off American IPs, just like they did with TikTok.
No. This is just a rumor and didn't happen until now. Okay? This is a rumor that spread on Twitter. But inside China, as I said, I'm living in China. There is no news about that. The government didn't say anything. Actually, Xi Jinping said, let's welcome these people as villagers of the Earth Village, the big village in this world. There's nothing about this IP wall yet.
Rednote.
That's a
or
girl.
xiaohongshu just released an
This girl is just crying about a rumor. It's not true. People still can see everything on xiaohongshu.
update in the greater China region with a function to separate out foreign IPs. And there are now talks of moving all foreign IPs to a separate server and having a different IP.
One of the reasons China do that is to avoid what's happening with TikTok. Right? Because if there's a server, for example, in the United States, the data is stored there. The United States cannot say, hey, China, you are accessing our citizens' data. Because that's what TikTok did. TikTok have all the data outside of China to avoid these kind of things and also for business. So that's one of the reasons. But for Winston, everything is, the Chinese government wants to hide the United States from his people. Like, everything is like, whoa, the Chinese government controls all the steps we have here.
For those who are in the greater China area. Essentially, this is going to kill the app for Chinese Americans who actually uses the app to connect with the Chinese content, Chinese language, Chinese culture.
And you see here, someone asked, how do you know this? Because it's a rumor. This video is from Friday. Today is Sunday in China. It's just a rumor until now. She has
It's a way for me to feel, I don't know.
Again, she's crying over a rumor.
All of this just because we wanted to say fuck you to the US government. I get it, but I just wish it wasn't at the cost of others. That's all I have to say about that.
Remember, Douyin is the actual app. TikTok is like a localized version for the outside world.
Yes.
Douyin is for the Chinese people so that they can control them and make sure that what they get in their feed is something that is approved by the Communist Party of China.
See, that's what I said. Everything is because the Chinese party wants to control people. It never mentioned business. It never mentioned data storage. Man, if you want to have this kind of business in Brazil, you have to have servers in Brazil. So you are telling me that Brazil want to control the data or control the content that's spread there? Jesus.
Same thing for Little Red Book, They have been tolerant of the occasional foreigner going over there because, there's a language barrier. It's all in Chinese.
Yes.
But now that there's been this big influx, they're like, this is not good enough. So they're working behind the scenes to split xiaohongshu, Little Red Book, into 2 apps.
Where you got this information from? Where?
One for the outside world and one for inside China. And they might do this in a sneaky way. They might do it where it's still the same app, but...
Sneaky way, because that's how Chinese Communist Party works. Always in sneaky ways. Ooh.
Based on your IP address, you only get to see content from your location. So if you have an American IP address, you'll only be able to see other people in America, what they post. Whereas in China, as per usual, they get to control what's being said there, and Chinese people can only see what other Chinese people post. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, really. And it's unfortunate, because I really was enjoying seeing American people and Chinese people interact for the first time, seemingly, which is strange because there's never been a time in history where Americans couldn't have gone and joined xiaohongshu if they wanted to interact with Chinese people. This is a very forced phenomenon, but it's good.
It's a forced phenomenon. Again, man, I don't understand how many people still follow this guy, because his reasoning makes no sense at all. Again, why TikTok would push its clients, its users to the competition if they have Douyin, if they have on Lemonade? Doesn't make any sense. Right? Doesn't make any sense. The TikTok is losing money.
However, like I said, it's coming to a close very possibly soon with this whole idea of splitting off the IPs. And on top of that, a lot of the American people joining are starting to figure out that, hang on a second, there is censorship in China.
Yes.
They post the most innocuous thing.
There's censorship everywhere. For example, in Brazil, we are not allowed to do Nazi content like you are in the United States.
Things that would be considered complete freedom of speech here in the West. And they're getting their accounts.
West? No. You're talking about the United States. Because you cannot say a lot of things in Europe. Europe is part of West. So you cannot just put everything in this big ball saying, this is West. No.
Blocked and banned.
All of us TikTok refugees are so unhinged, and I am living for it. Our government is out of their mind if they think we're going to stand for this TikTok ban.
I know this girl. She's living not far from my city.
We're just going to go to a new Chinese app, and here we are.
Please do not mention sensitive topics such as politics, religion, and drugs. By the way, there was a user saying that, avoid trying to...
So she says, hi, 我是来自美国的 lesbian. So, hi, I'm a lesbian from America.
Yeah.
Whoops. Blocked and banned.
There's no proof that's her profile. And I know LGBT people on Douyin, that's the TikTok here. I know LGBT people on xiaohongshu. Man, no.
They're also getting a lot of pushback from certain Chinese people that don't want them to be mingling on their app. Because xiaohongshu, to be honest, has always been kind of a haven for the diaspora around the world. I know this. My wife uses it. All of her friends use it. All of the Chinese people I know use it. And they use it for...
Interesting, because you said there's no LGBT content allowed. The good thing that I'm in China is I can literally show you LGBT content here. Look, I was just filtering LGBT here, and look all this. Amazing. Look, not allowed LGBT content in China? Are you sure?
Getting in touch with each other, helping each other out, but it's also used for nefarious purposes.
Such a liar.
For instance, that's where this whole Runshui situation where people were discussing how to illegally enter the US, that was all being discussed on xiaohongshu, in little groups and things like that. Because
Wait, so the Communist Party controls everything, but people were discussing these kind of things on the app?
Hey, now you have this kind of walled-off system. It's all in Chinese. People can't see what's going on. They also discuss how to take advantage of sales and deals and the usual type of thing, loopholes, how to, get money by doing this and that and the next thing. I could go into it in depth, but maybe that's for another time. But xiaohongshu has always kind of been this hidden in plain sight.
There's even a LGBT bar here. But I know, hey, it's not allowed to post LGBT content in xiaohongshu. Such a liar.
Discussion forum for the Chinese diaspora. And of course,
just
I don't think they like
man.
the fact that the spotlight has been shone on their little hidey hole. Anyway, I wanted to cap this off by saying, I'm very disappointed.
About what, man? You're just lying.
In some of the things I've been seeing. I'm very disappointed that it seems like a certain demographic in America are incredibly susceptible to propaganda.
If we go to war with China, I'm defecting to China. If they're like, we're going to do a draft and you have to go fight, nope. Immediately giving all secrets to China. Loose lips sink ships, and I'm going to be sinking every U.S. ship with my fucking blabbermouth. China can have my data. China can have my passwords. China can have my secrets. China can know everything
Welcome to
about
China.
me.
I come in peace. Our United
Because they are regular people interacting with regular people. They are talking with factory workers, whatever, supermarket workers. It's just regular people. They don't want to have. Why they would have war with China? Why they would want that? This makes no sense at all. This guy, as I said, this guy is a professional China hater. So he'll try to spread this information that, oh, China is bad. The Communist Party controls everything. Hey, there's no LGBT content on xiaohongshu. And then I found LGBT content. So he's just lying, and he puts all this in a very nice English conversation, but it's just a bunch of lies.
States government has betrayed us.
The Chinese are stealing our data. Who cares? I don't care. I will gladly give my data to Chinese.
We love China. We love Xi Jinping. You will be brainwashed.
Me, America's son? Ha! That will be a challenge.
You bet.